Your J&V Restaurant Supply team with Captain Darian White, Cola Bad Bear with rebounds,
Miami.
Madison Jackson assists, and your shooter from downtown, Leah Beatty. J&V Restaurant Supply, savor the difference.
Good to be back in a game week. We did enjoy our bye week and used it to start getting ready for Northern Arizona to do some recruiting, to do some healing up. But it was a very productive week, and we're excited to turn the page and get this next game going. I know the bye week's great, but I know our guys are hungry to play again. I know we're anxious to continue to get better. I think that's the big part of what we want to be about this time of year is can we continue to get better as a football team? Can we continue to find guys step up, whether that's offense, defense, special teams? I know we've got some young guys that have continued to come along, and just anxious to get another opportunity here. So Northern Arizona is a team that I think coming into this season had high expectations, and they're 3-5 right now, also coming off a bye week. They've played some people really tough. They've been on the road a lot. They've only had 3 home games, so they're a team that has our full attention. I think both lines of scrimmage, they got big physical guys. Defense, safeties in particular, are guys that really tackle the football well offensively. RJ Martinez was freshman of the year in the conference last year at quarterback, has continued to build upon that. Has a lot of guys they spread the ball out to. I think 4 guys have over 30 catches so far. So it's going to be a challenge going in there for most of our guys. It's the first time that we'll have played in the Skydome, and it's a new venues always brings its own challenges. So we're excited about it though, and getting ready to go obviously here on Monday. So with that, open it up.
What do you think the biggest improvement was last week during the bye?
Well, I think we just continue to work on fundamentals. I know one thing in particular would be special teams. We didn't tackle real well in that Weber game, and in part because of leverage and positioning. And, I know that was an emphasis within our special teams work last week, and continuing just to go through our depth chart to see who will make those coverage teams in particular the best. So we had, some competition for some of those spots. And, I think that would be one area in particular I look at.
RJ Fitzgerald mentioned that he thought that he's one of the only guys on the team that's played in the Skydome, and he says it's a pretty tough place to play. Have you coached there at all?
I have not. No, this will be my first time there, and like RJ alluded to, we haven't had that many guys that were part of the last trip down there. So I think a new venue is always just it's just that its surroundings are a little bit different. We anticipate they'll have a good crowd, and like a lot of the domes, and it's close enough maybe to the dome in Northern Iowa, the dome in South Dakota, that those places can get really noisy. I know that if you allow them to.
If Kevin Daniels will play or not, have you heard any update there?
No, I mean, it would be pure speculation at this point, but I think, when you have a bye and you haven't been out there, I think we got to anticipate that he will be capable of playing. That does change the dynamic for them in the backfield for sure.
Anybody else who stands out? Best in the Koweti. I think Twins on defense have pretty good seasons.
Yeah, I think their 2 safeties, and Best leads the charge. 7, I think they're really good tacklers in particular, really aggressive. And then the other twin brothers play defensive end are athletic and capable of causing some problems both in the run and the pass game.
You mentioned RJ Martinez earlier. What do you kind of see from him as a passer, especially?
Well, he's been able to, I think, continue to get better. And we would have seen him in crossover last year. We didn't play in AU, so he wasn't fully on our radar. But anytime you get freshman of the year, it's well-deserved honor. I think it was a well-deserved honor for him last year. I think he's capable of making all the throws. I think he's accurate. I think he's athletic enough to extend plays, and athletic enough to make some plays with his feet if he chooses to pull it down. So, a well-rounded quarterback that while he's young, he does have a considerable amount of experience just in these 2 years. So he's certainly what drives them. I think offensively, they're pretty lopsided with their passing yards versus their running yards at this point. So how he goes is certainly a driving force for him.
They like to spread the ball around a lot of offense. I guess what challenges does that provide to you guys performance?
Well, I think anytime targets are spread out, it just it puts you in a situation defensively where you got to defend the whole field. You can't lean your coverage maybe to one particular guy, and that's okay. I think that's typical of our league. I don't know that at this point we've seen that one team with one guy kind of that you really have to be fully concerned with. So I think it does force you, like I said, to defend everything, defend all areas. And for us, the big thing with our secondary is keeping the ball in front of us. And if the ball does get spread out, that's okay. If that means they're having to check it down and we can tackle the football, that's what we're all about.
A couple of changes on the depth chart. Curious if you guys think you can stay like this.
Yeah, I think first off, Rylan Ort is clear to go, and that's great news. I know this extended longer than we wanted it to, and Rylan's been ready to go for quite some time. So, as we've talked about before, Rylan was our starter out of spring. It doesn't discredit Reddy and Kendrick who played in front of him, but we feel that Rylan will allow our defense to take a step forward. He's very anxious to get out there, so I know we're really excited for him. I know offensively Coy Steele is back, and how much Coy will be able to get out there and rep, I'm not exactly sure, but he has been practicing, going on about 3-4 weeks now. He'll certainly have a presence, and we'll get him out there on offense. I know he'll be out there on special teams as well. So, I think those two are the most notable returns. I know offensively, looking at the quarterback position, I think Sean's still a work in progress. We kept him at that 2 spot with anticipation that it's an opportunity that he can play. I can spit that word out, but no, I think Cole Saint, that's the other one too. I'm trying to just think about it to change. Cole Saint will be back, and he'll definitely be ready to go. Last week he was emergency at best, and this week he'll be ready.
In just a few minutes, small business owners can now sign up for Blackfoot Communication Services. Whether it's dependable voice options or internet services, sign up simply by visiting blackfootsmallbusiness.com. Click on the services you wish, select an installation time and date, and you're done. Small business services at the touch of your fingers. Connect to more with Blackfoot Communications and blackfootsmallbusiness.com.
And then Lane wasn't listed until that.
Yeah, Lane's going to be out. That's right. It's been a while since we've met. Yeah, Lane did suffer an injury late in that game. Week to week deal with him, and he limped off pretty. I don't know, it was pretty brave for him to limp off like he did at the end of that game. But yeah, he's gonna be out for at least this week, and we'll see where we're at with him next week.
And then, sorry, one more. Taco in the H spot and not Cleveland.
Yeah, I'm not gonna comment any further on Cleveland's situation right now. I know that's something that we're working through, and when it's resolved, we'll deal with it.
Is Jahari close, or is he? Where's he at?
I don't know that he's close. I think he's closer. He's out there running around. He's not. So at least he's made that step Does that mean he's 2 weeks away? Is he 3 weeks away? I think that would be best case scenario with him. I know we anticipate getting him back. And he's just at the beginning stages of being able to get out there and just run, and a big part of what we'll ultimately want to ask him to do is play special teams and cover. And so that's a pretty big hurdle he has to cross still yet, but I trust that he will.
How would you say that position, fullback and then tight ends, how integral they've been to the offense, especially rushing so far?
Well, I think, the combination of Derek, Trayton, and then RJ, have played a bulk of the reps. They've all been, I think, more versatile than they probably had been in the past. And that starts with their ability to just block in different areas, and we ask our guys to do a lot, blocking on the line, blocking from the backfield, blocking, as detached players. And then primarily we play them off the ball, and they're doing a lot of different things from that position as well. And then I think they've all made an impact with the ball in their hands. I think both Derek and Trayton's numbers are up, and then RJ's been able to take on a little further role, being a guy that can put the ball in the end zone. So I've been very pleased with those three, and we're going to continue to need that versatility out of that group as we move forward.
Have the fans gotten off your back about throwing the tight ends out?
Yeah, I don't hear it too often anymore. No, and I get it. I mean, I think it's an offense that doesn't utilize their tight ends is not one we want to be like, and I think we got guys that really deserve the opportunity to get the football and create matchup issues. And they're all unique in their own right. So, we need to continue to get them the football.
I know you talked to that a little bit in the past, but what has Kenny kind of brought to that Vigen rotation?
Well, I think more and more he's on the field. I guess that's the first thing, and that's what we needed. We needed, to be able to play four ends, and not only is he playing end, he's playing inside on third downs, and he's a guy that's very explosive. So as a pass rusher, I think he brings something to the table that they got to contend with him. He's not just some guy out there. So, he's continued to get more and more consistent, and that's allowed him to be on the field more and more. And I think, he got pressed into extended duty against Northern Colorado with Brody going down. And I think sometimes that battlefield promotion, you got to go out there and play. It is the best thing for a guy to kind of continue to build his confidence, and then, lend to that consistency that maybe wasn't there at the beginning of the year. So I think as we get into the latter part of this season, he's an added weapon on that defensive front, way more than he was at the beginning of the year.
I think they're number one in sacks given up, or few sacks given up in the conference. Is that a lot of RJ's, Martinez's scramble ability, the offensive line, a mixture of both?
Well, I think they got a big offensive line. I think that does protect pretty well. As much as they've thrown, I think it's a credit to them, but it's also, I think it's a reflection of him getting the ball out quick too. I think it's probably all of those things. And like any game, we have to find a way to put pressure on the quarterback. We hope to make them one-dimensional. And if we can do that, then it's playing to our advantage. And but they have done a good job of protecting him, and he does a good job getting the ball.
Coulter, you're up.
Join Town Pump's Pump It Up Rewards Plus program and never pay full price for fuel again.
Save 5 cents on every gallon every day at any Town Pump across Montana.
Plus, earn and redeem points on your favorite in-store items to get free stuff with our clubs.
Stop in and pick up a rewards card. Download the Pump It Up Rewards Plus app today.
Or visit townpump.com/rewards to register and start saving.
Town Pump. Right down the road. Pump it up. Oh, yeah.
Coach, you've talked about getting better all year long. How does that continue into the last month of the season?
Well, I think it's, it's our vets going out each day and being conscious of the things that they can work on. Sometimes those are little things for sure, to continue to, keep your sword sharp. It's getting, as a team, it's getting more young guys to continue to take that step forward. And I know for us, those young guys, those contributions are all over. We have some young guys that are, playing regular downs, offense, defense, and there's a whole host of those guys playing on special teams. And I think it's, as much as anything, just understanding that they haven't arrived yet, I guess, and as far as, they don't have all the answers. They got to keep working on all the things that the coaches are preaching. And if everybody collectively can have that mindset, then as a team, you can improve. And part of it's just taking the steps away from practice, taking care of your bodies, and I think that's where having a bye week in whatever percentage a group of guys can just feel better. I think that's a big part of it too. And when you have a lot to play for in November, I think you naturally chase that a little bit differently. When you don't have a lot to play for in November, I think that's a lot more complicated. We have a lot to play for, so I think our guys are very driven right now to do whatever each individual can. And I think collectively that gives us that opportunity we're looking for.
When it comes to Tommy Mellott, he had so much pressure, expectation, all that coming into this year. How do you think he's handled it? How have you seen him improve?
I agree with you. I mean, I think the expectations were out there based on just the body of work that he had played. But I think given the experience of the quarterbacks maybe in our league, for him to be the preseason all conference, it's almost like, okay, let's give it to Tommy, but who knows who it's going to necessarily be. And that's something we talked about. I mean, he's got to become the best version of himself. He can't worry about becoming something that everybody thinks he should be sooner than later, I think. So it's been a process. And then in the midst of it, he missed a couple games. So how has he gotten better? I think the passing game is slowing down for him. I think his ability to hang in there is showing up more and more, while having the ability to, pull it down and make the plays that we know he's capable of. I think as a runner, he's looked way better recently than he did at the beginning of the year. And I think that's just more and more volume, knowing how runs should hit, where they should hit. And I think the other thing that I know is apparent is he's not the type of guy that makes the same mistake twice. Now, he's continued to make some mistakes. The interception out the gate against Weber, and that was being conscious of space and eyes and coverage and all those things. But I think as his experiences have continued to pile up, that in itself is allowing him to get better and better. Sometimes you have to experience things, the speed of the game, alignment of defense, eyes of defenders, all those times to ultimately have it all click. So I think it's all come together for him. But I'd also say that he's got a ways to go, and it'll be exciting to see where he can go this month in particular. And I think he's ultimately the most conscious of, where he's at and how he needs to improve. And when you have that, then, you really have something.
And I want to ask you just about your coordinators, just a broad question about both of them. Taylor, his second year in the league, and Willie Matt Garza, his first year in the league. There's so much experience in this league. How have you thought of those guys' ability to sort of diagnose and navigate the league, even though they only have, Taylor's 13 games in and Willie Mack's 5 games in, but you guys have been so good already.
Yeah, I think first off, both of them getting to know our players and who we should stress, who we should protect. I think that's, from year to year, even from week to week, I think that's the first thing a good coordinator has to do. And I think they've, so just both internally, I think they've done a good job of recognizing our strengths and weaknesses, and trying to, highlight those strengths and minimize those weaknesses. And I think as far as, the league and our prep goes, through the course of our league schedule, we've had some repeat opponents and we've had some new opponents. And I think that's where the experience, like this week, we didn't play NAU last year. So this is a brand new game. So then you fall back on, what can we do? What makes us tick the best, I guess. And I think to maybe answer your question the best, it's just, I think they've done a good job of saying, okay, who on our side will stress the defense the most? And then flip side is, okay, beyond scheme, what defenders or what offensive players do we really try to want to minimize? And I think that's been our focus each week. And I think both guys, while had not a lot of experience here, I think a varied amount of experience before they got here. And I think both staff, both sides of the football, I think there's big contributions happening from those entire staff. So I've been pleased, but like I said, I think the bigger thing is just how we've utilized our personnel as much as anything.
And one other assistant I wanted to ask you about is Brian Armstrong. I talked to him last week, and I've just been so impressed. No matter what he's been given in terms of players, he's been able to form great offensive lines his whole time in Montana State. So, how important has that been? Especially he has such a teaching way of being. How much of his education background helps, especially with the young guys?
Yeah, I think being in that position, the offensive line position, and I think you have to be a good teacher first and foremost. You have to have a level of patience, but you better have a level of expectation too. And I think Brian's got all that. I think he's flexible too. I think you can't be, this is the only way we can do it. And I know just in his time here, a lot of different schemes, a lot of different guys calling the plays. I know he was calling the plays for a stretch. You have to be able to adapt, and you adapt because, first of all, you're willing to, but then you have the experience to see a few different ways to do things. And I know the makeup of this year's offensive line is more athletic. So, okay, what do we need to do to highlight that athleticism? And I think, collectively our offensive staff has done a really good job of highlighting their strengths. And I think Brian in particular has, allowed those guys to grow while being a pretty young group, with not that much experience. So really appreciate how he's attacked this year. I think there was a lot of people questioning how that group would do, but I think offensively our success has definitely started with them.
And last thing for me, I talked to Tyrell Thomas this morning, and he was saying that he doesn't really know how his life would have gone if he wouldn't have come to Montana State, and just how happy he is that he did. So, I mean, that must mean a lot to you as a coach. Just the fact that the experience, no matter how it goes. He's been hurt lately and all that. I get it, but it seems as if the holistic experience is so beneficial for the guys. That must make you make you proud to be at Montana State.
Yeah, and it takes a while for guys to figure that out sometimes, what it truly is about. And I think this year, more so for Tyrell, and let's just talk about him, has shined a light on what's really important. The games you play, the stats you put up, all that stuff. I think when you're young, that's what you think it's going to be all about. But when it's beginning to come to an end, you realize it's certainly about the degree you're walking away with. I'm sure when you come from different parts of the country, and what's Montana, what's Bozeman going to mean to you, I'm sure you don't have any idea when you step on campus. And then I think you reflect back on the older you get, he's 5 years removed, what are some some of your buddies doing? What are they up to? You know, and here he is, like I said, a degree. He's in a place where, you know, the support our guys are given is amazing. And that's here at the university. You know, it's within all their majors. It's within the community. And I think, you know, that really sorts itself out by the tail end. And you know, you want your guys to, you know, appreciate how they've changed, you know, from point A to point B, and then more than anything, you want them prepared to make an impact, you know, when they step out into the real world, I guess. And that's probably what, you know, is the most gratifying thing. You know, it is. I shouldn't say probably, it is. And then you go 5-10 years down the road, and you know, guys are husbands and fathers and successful in their careers. I think that is a coach. There's no statistics to that, but ultimately that's what's most important and should be. And I think if you have guys that are having that experience while they're going through your football program, it is going to flip around. That's going to help you win football games too. I think it all works together. And you know, Tyrell has had challenges staying on the field, not only in my time here, before that. He's worked through some things. I think this year has forced him to be even more unselfish with the opportunities he's been granted. And you know, he's playing through a little bit of an injury now with his hand, and you know, it'll require that even more. So I'm glad that you touched on that, because he's a good example of a guy that I think is leaving here better than he came. And I think the clarity and what he ultimately was meant to experience here is becoming clear for him.
Thank you.
Just one more question on Coy. I mean, it's been obviously a very long road back. I mean, how gratifying is it for you, and how happy does he seem to be back in the fold?
Oh, he's real excited, and honestly, he's healthier now than he was when he played last year. He's probably healthier now than he's been in a long time, and you know, it was a long road back, because that would have happened, you know, beginning of October last year. You know, so it's almost 13. It's over 13 months. And at this time last year, I think he had his mind made up. He was going to be done. I think towards the end of November, I think he started feeling, you know, some progress in that knee. And he was willing to give it another shot. So I think he wants it to end on his terms. You know, even though it ended last year on a really big punt return in Portland, you know, couldn't be more excited for the plays he's going to be able to make, and truly ending on his terms. And having him out there, you know, will be a boost for our guys, because Coy's he's one of our best leaders. You know, he doesn't say much, but when he does, it's thoughtful, and it's coming from a good place. So to have him now back on the field, I think will, you know, carry a greater importance for him to, you know, continue to make the impact in every which way.
Oh, good.
Thanks, Coach. Join Town Pump's Pump It Up Rewards Plus program and never pay full price for fuel again.
Save 5 cents on every gallon every day at any Town Pump across Montana.
Plus, earn and redeem points on your favorite in-store items to get free stuff with our clubs.
Stop in and pick up a rewards card. Download the Pump It Up Rewards Plus app today.
Or visit townpump.com/rewards to register and start saving.